Flight Risk continues an unfortunate Rotten Tomatoes streak for Mark Wahlberg. The story of Flight Risk follows a U.S. Marshal who boards a small plane with a pilot to transfer an informant who has turned against a mob boss. The cast of Flight Risk includes Wahlberg, Michelle Dockery, and Topher Grace. Flight Risk is directed by Mel Gibson, who has directed several critically acclaimed movies throughout his career. Some of Mel Gibson's best movies include Braveheart, The Passion of the Christ, and Hacksaw Ridge. However, compared to Gibson's other films, the reception to Flight Risk has not been positive. Reviews for Flight Risk have been very underwhelming, and the movie currently has an extremely low score of 25% on Rotten Tomatoes, via Rotten Tomatoes. Critics have pointed out that Flight Risk is easily the worst film that Gibson has directed. Additionally, several critics have criticized Wahlberg's performance in the movie, claiming that his villainous character is way too over the top. Therefore, Flight Risk's negative reception has continued a disappointing streak in Wahlberg's career. Flight Risk is Mark Wahlberg's 10th rotten movie in the last 5 years. Flight Risk has a very low Rotten Tomatoes score. Flight Risk's less than ideal Rotten Tomatoes score makes it the 10th rotten movie starring Wahlberg in the last 5 years. On the review aggregator website Rotten Tomatoes, the score of a movie needs to be lower than 60% to be considered rotten. This means that most of Wahlberg's recent films have received very negative reviews. In fact, out of Wahlberg's last 11 movies, only one has received a fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes. 2024's Arthur the King is Wahlberg's only recent movie that has a rating higher than 60%. Other recent Mark Wahlberg movies that have received low ratings are Uncharted, Father Stu, The Family Plan, and The Union. There were hopes that Flight Risk could start a comeback for Wahlberg. After all, Gibson has directed several incredible movies. However, Flight Risk has ended up cementing itself as one of the worst movies of Wahlberg's career. Why Mark Wahlberg's recent movies have such bad scores on Rotten Tomatoes? Wahlberg hasn't been choosing the right movies to star in. Some of Wahlberg's best movies include Boogie Nights, The Fighter, Deepwater Horizon, and Patriot's Day. These movies prove that Wahlberg is a skilled actor who is capable of creating memorable characters. However, essentially none of his recent movies have been enjoyed by critics. Wahlberg has elevated himself to a point where he is capable of choosing what projects he wants to work on. Therefore, there's a chance that he just isn't choosing the right movies. However, working with Gibson as a director should have been a much safer bet. The failure of Flight Risk proves that even working with an acclaimed director won't put an end to Wahlberg's unfortunate Rotten Tomatoes streak. Hopefully an upcoming movie featuring Wahlberg will garner great reviews and finally start his comeback, but as of now, Flight Risk's failure makes it clear that Wahlberg's recent pursuits haven't been leading to positive reviews.